been a few years since you've released a new album. That was it 2017?
Yeah, the last one. We tend to leave it 4 years to make a record. Seems to be the way.
That's your magic number.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Being prolific sounds like too much hard work. 4 years is fine.
Yeah. But when you do, my God, it is intense. I mean, this album, I've been listening to it since I got to hear the whole thing, and repeatedly. It speaks to my teenage self who grew up in the emerging thrash metal scene and going, oh my God, I hear Slayer in that. I hear, you know, this band in that. And also I was the same kid who was listening to hardcore at the same time. So musically, it just speaks to me. And then I hear your lyrics, and you are so angry, so on point, and yet so, you don't just spout anger. You write. I think I mentioned the last time we spoke in an interview, it's more like prose, your lyrics.
Yeah.
How has the world in the last 4 years formed this album? Because you can hear so much of all of that happening in there.
Yeah, I think it is quite, topically, it is quite on the pulse, should we say, because, you know, it's written 2019, 2020, where there's just a lot going on this island politically.
Yeah.
And so that has crept in there as far as, you know, the content. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about anger over the lack of free movement of people in particular, and how we seem to be closing things down rather than opening them up. So there's certainly a lack of empathy going on at government level. So that is in there, but there's also some self-reflective stuff in there, which I've tried to do before, but probably a bit more of that in this record. And some other bits and pieces. I tried to make it as eclectic as possible anyway, so hopefully
You've done well with the eclectic bit. And one thing I've noticed, you've used the same artist for each of your album covers.
Yeah.
And they're wood cuttings.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that come about? Tell me the story about that.
It's just, you know, John Abel is his name. He's an old friend of mine from Cardiff. Actually, we met in Bristol, but yeah, he's also from Cardiff, and you know, he just does these amazing pictures. They're woodcuts, but he prints them. He does lots of other things as well, but I think he's predominantly known for his the wood cuttings, and I always just, you know, admired them anyway. And then when we started the band and we needed art, and I was like, I can't draw for shit, neither can anyone else in the band. We're like, well, what are we gonna do? Use a photograph or something, like, you know, all the usual stuff. Yeah. And it just occurred to me that you know, the way that he makes the pictures would sit well on a record sleeve, which I think it does. I think it looks cool. And also a lot of his stuff has the same kind of sentiment as the music. You know, a lot of his pieces are political, or they're some sort of protest form, and so I like that as well. And he's a good friend, so I think we got it cheap. So,
that's even better. But it's always struck me every time, because when you look at them, you see the image, but then you look at it and you study it, and you start seeing, as with all good art, all the individual pieces and the hidden things. And I find it really fascinating that you'd use something so intricate, or such an aggressive, in your face kind of sound.
Yeah. Yeah, this one, we gave him the album title,
Mhm.
which is Empty Plinths. So it kind of, that's self-explanatory after what happened in Bristol last year with the Colston statue coming down. And then I sent in the lyrics to the song Empty Plinths. So it's just, there's some photo guide, but then, the rest is just his interpretation of that. So he's just, and it is cool how you can, there's other bits and pieces in there that you can pick out if you study it. Like, so I like that too.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of the title Empty Plinths, Colson started it. I mean, everybody there in Bristol, you guys got it going. And it's been happening. It's so nice to see in the States, them getting rid of so many of the Confederate statues, which are still up.
Yeah.
And all the
so recently in Canada, they tore down the Victoria, was it Victoria? The statue of Victoria. And any form, any sort of effigy that denotes colonialism is now at risk of being torn down, and rightly so. These things they're monuments of reverence, is what I'd say. If you have a statue made of you, it's because you deserve to be revered. And I think colonizing, or in this case, like, a wealthy slave trader is certainly not deserving of that title. And particularly now in modern society, I've walked past that statue 1,000 times, and it's just like, what the fuck is it doing there? And Bristol Radical History Group, I think, spent a long time campaigning to have it torn down, in the legal way. They went through the right measures, and contacted the right people, and nothing, there's inactivity. So as usual, it's down to people to take it into their own hands, which, I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, they rolled it down the street and dumped it in the harbor.
Yeah.
I saw that. Wow.
Yeah, and it spawned like you said, a domino effect around the world then, of people doing it in their town. So that was really good.
What do you think should happen to these statues? They are a part of history, even if it's a history that we abhor.
Yeah, good point. I think these probably put in a museum or some things, but with context of the of the day of the protest as well. That's the end of this statue's sort of lifespan publicly. So I was like, well, because after it happened, there was like almost a monument in itself, because people had put placards all around the plinth, and people were taking photographs of it, and there's some great like snapshots of people raising their fist on top of the
one woman
and stuff, and it's like really, it's kind of very fitting. And I know statues are like it's not the major thing in the world today to do it. It was something that happened, in our hometown, and I thought it was really interesting. So we concentrated a little bit on that and what a wider context to that means. But I'm under no illusions of that. That's like, it's far from the biggest thing you could be complaining about if you're writing a record.
Well, yes and no, because it is something that is so representative. To remove a statue that represents a slave trader, that to me is huge. And that to me indicates a culture change. Everything that started with George Floyd's death, it's built on that. And it is something meaningful. I think that it's not just a small piece.
It was important. I think it was in the middle of the summer last year. It was the Black Lives Matter demonstration. It was that day. So it was this whole, energy and feeling moving through the world, all over the world. So it was just and this was another symptom of that. So it's really good.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of Bristol, as Pizza Tramp loved to keep pointing out on stage, You're not a Welsh band
For the
anymore.
last 4 years, anyone that you know that liked her, you can punch them out. What's your fucking problem, mate? Your hat. You can fuck off, mate. I'll give you a hat when you fucking want it, mate. What's your fucking issue? You're from fucking Bristol. Shock off, mate. You'll have your hat when I fucking give it to you, mate. You will have your hat. Don't come over here giving it all. Remind Devon about her good grand collapser. You jog off back to the bar, mate. I'll fucking deal with you later, bro. You fuck off. That was that ballser. I thought we were joking. I'll see you later, mate. What was the song?
Why did you decide to leave Wales?
I've been here fucking ages. Like 10, 11 years I've been in Bristol now. And John moved over soon after, and then recently Glenn moved here as well. So we are all he does try and wind us up about that.
Yeah.
And for forever it was Dave and Glenn were still living in South Wales, so I hung on to that to that label. But we probably should ditch it now and just go with the Bristol thing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And you have a new bass player.
Yeah.
Tell me about
Blagg. He's so Dave left the band, I think, start of 2019. And so we were like, shit, what are we gonna do? And Blagg was playing bass in John's other band, No Pulse. And so we just went with that, and it worked out really well. He's awesome, picked up everything really quick, and he's just really cool guy. So his sound. Yeah.
And do you think he had a big impact on the sound for this new album?
Yeah, it was nice just to have different perspective, and like in the writing process. And I don't know, a lot of that goes over my head. I kind of sit there and listen to them talk about tones and things like that. But I certainly added like a different perspective.
Yeah.
And he's another metalhead. I think this record's a lot more metallic sounding.
Yeah.
It's heavier than the other two.
Yeah.
And that's what we were going for. And Blagg's really into heavy music, so it was like a natural progression really for us to go that way.
Yeah, I totally hear that, and it's made me regret slightly that I'm no longer filling in for a metal show on the radio show that I do. I was also doing a metal one, and I was playing you guys from the last album on there quite often, but this one would fit even better in there. But I'm doing a punk show now, so you get played no matter what.
We'd be just listening. Maybe we'll get booked on metal shows now. I don't know. I just start. Now that we've turned the gain up a bit, everyone. Yeah.
Well, you're definitely a crossover. Definitely a crossover band, which is good. You have the wider audience. It always helps.
Yeah.
So obviously you've not been able to play to support the album yet, but it's not even out. It's coming out, in 2 weeks?
Yeah, the 6th of August. And then we've got the release gig in Bristol on the 14th of August. So that's the first gig back, that one. It's at the Exchange in Bristol on the 14th.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. I would imagine that's going to be packed. Yeah,
it's with Books and Friends bands that Agnesy from London and Defcon Zero coming back to play a gig. It's really cool. They're all good mates of ours. And Stray Bullet from Sheffield, which is our good friend Fergus's new band. They're fucking banging as well. So it should be a good gig.
Yeah, I saw the listing for that, and I hadn't heard of Stray Bullet before. Went and checked them out. Loved them. Got them on the radio show. Exactly.
Yeah, they did that one EP last year. So I don't know if they've played. If they have, they've played only like a couple of shows. But so they put the EP out during the pandemic, so they'll be like big in we're doing a few gigs with them in September as well. So
Oh,
which we haven't
cool.
about yet, but yeah, they're killer.
Yeah, hopefully up this way. Although you're playing up here in Manchester, ooh, end of August, is it?
Yeah. No, it'll be end of September 20 something, 21,
Okay.
22 around there. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
know
we
it's a Sunday. Yeah.
yeah.
So hopefully I will be able to see it then, because I just want to see this stuff live. And when you play, it is always such an intense experience. You're a very gentle, soft-spoken kind of guy until you get that microphone and you start screaming, and it just all comes out. It really is a change. And do you feel that when you're playing?
Well, it's intense music, and I don't know. It's the song content is quite, you know, it's quite aggressive, I suppose, in some places. So just naturally, it's gonna come out quite an aggressive way. But I don't know. It's only for it's just half an hour of madness and then back to normal.
Yeah. Good stress release.
Yeah, looking forward to doing that again, screaming at strangers in small rooms across the country, which is odd in itself. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you do it. So must have been tough to get the album together and all of that during the pandemic. How were you able to record it during the pandemic?
Well, the actual session was last August.
Oh, okay.
It's taken a fucking year to get this thing out, for one thing or another. But the recording session just happened to fall in that bit of last year where things started to open up again.
Yeah.
So the studio was up and running. So we got lucky with that.
Yeah.
And then we recorded it and things locked down again. So we just managed to make it work. And then because of COVID and Brexit and the records being pressed in Europe, it's just been one delay after another. But yeah, we're almost here now. Yeah.
And right now, I don't know if the vinyl's been received here yet, but with the lorry drivers and everything else, I hope it gets here, because everybody's bought out all the yellow ones.
Yeah. They actually turned up yesterday.
Perfect.
Some of the records, not the color ones, but they're behind.
They're coming. They'll be coming. I was shocked to see, because to me, looking at it, the clear one with the black and red splatter, that's the one I would have chosen. I don't have a turntable, so I don't buy vinyl. But everybody went for the yellow one first.
It's because there's less of them. People want to go. It's fucking weird. I was like, oh, there's less of these, so everyone. I don't know. It must be some sort of hoarding psychology. I don't know. They all play the same. They all play the fucking same. So I don't know.
Exactly. You know, it's that scarcity. It's yellow. It's scarce. There's only 10 instead of 20, or however it went. So yeah.
Yeah, my band's got a record out on tape, and it's only 25 of them or something, and they'll be gobbled up like that. And then no one will want to play them. I don't know how it works, but the black ones are cheaper. I'd buy the black one if I was buying from another band. They're cheaper.
Exactly. It's all going to play the same. You don't sit and look at the beauty of it, even though they are beautiful, but people like it. They collect it. Sometimes people buy the colored or splatters or whatever and never play them. They listen to the digital and that's it.
I know people that have, I don't know how many copies of Minor Threats LP, because it comes out in a different color on a repress and they have to have it. And it's like I don't know, they must have repressed that thing fucking so many times, and people just keep buying them because it's a great record, but you don't need more than one of them. But
exactly. Or if you've worn it out, replace it because you've played it too much. So do you think you'll be able to tour much off of the back of this album with the COVID situations?
Well, we booked a tour for end of September, which I need to advertise in some way because I haven't done that yet. but it's like, I don't know, I'm not holding my breath. I just get it booked, and then if it goes ahead, we might go. If we go back into lockdown again, then fuck it. But
Yeah.
It's, yeah, I hope so. Only here though, I can't see us being able to go abroad for a long time. You know.
And speaking of abroad, you guys played the States a few years ago, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we went with Conflict to. It was mostly in Texas. It was like California and Texas, places in between. It was really cool. Yeah.
Did you get a good response from the people who came? And
yeah, it was great. We, you know, touring with Conflict meant that there was actually people there every night. So I was like, this is cool. Because I guess if we chanced our arm and booked our own tour over there, then I've heard some horror stories of bands just like no one gives a fuck. So this was cool. So you could play to people, and it was a really good experience. It was
yeah, that's it. When I read about that, I was like, what? They were in the States? Because that's not as easy to do. Even bands there struggle, you know, if they want to travel to other states or something, it's tough for them to get come to gigs. But when you're with Conflict, obviously that helps.
Yeah, it was a good experience. Going around like Texas, and which I'd never been there before, and it was awesome. The people were really friendly, and the shows were good, and it was hot as shit. And we were in it was in the summer. It was around now, end of July, and we went to, the hottest was Phoenix by far. Phoenix, Arizona. It was close. It was up in the late 40s. And I was like, what is this? It's like being walking around, being in a sauna with a quilt on. It was nuts.
Yeah.
But
at least there's air conditioning everywhere you go, though.
Yeah. Oh, otherwise you die. But.
Yeah, especially out that way. I've never even been out that way. I lived in New York though for 12 years. And I used to call New York in July the armpit of humanity, because it was 35 degrees and humid as hell.
Oh shit! But then it gets super cold in the winter and really hot in the summer. Yeah.
American weather. Then again, we've had it this past week with the heat wave we've had here in the UK, and the houses are not built for it here. Yeah,
there's a storm kicking off outside actually.
Oh, yeah. I'm a little jealous. We just have clouds. So what's next? Or are you not even thinking about next yet?
I just get this thing out.
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks, and then hopefully get gigging again. And that's it really. That's not looking past that. Yeah. The boys were like, let's start writing some new songs. I was like, no, hold on a minute. I can't. Can we just play these fucking things first? So yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, understood. And I have to say, you have won the award for cats. Every person I think I've done a Zoom interview with, except for one band, there has been a cat in there. And mine just ignored me.
Yeah. Mabel.
Oh.
What's happening? She's pissed off now.
Yeah, I heard that. Oof. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yes, no, mine have been very hidden, which is not usual either. Usually it's dueling cats.
Yeah. The other two, I've got 3 of them. They're all buzzing around somewhere.
Yeah.
They're a bit scared of the thunder outside. So,
yes, definitely. Mine don't like that either. What is that? And go and hide.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you very much for your time, and I cannot wait to see this album being played live.
Nice one.
Hopefully I'll see it soon.
Yeah, sounds nice. Thanks for your time.
Great. Well, thank you very much, and hope to see you soon.
All right. Cheers.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.